Thank you. It's ESPN's Road to Champ Week. It's presented by Wendy's and the SEC on ESPN. Two teams who will need to run the tables in Nashville to make the NCAA tournament. Ole Miss can still earn a double bye at the SEC tournament. Kentucky just looks to head into next week on a roll. Speaking of these Wildcats, the calendar has had some ups and downs. They started out the season highly ranked on the day after Christmas. Well, they were 1-6. Worst start in almost 100 years. They started rolling a bit when the conference play began, winning their first 3 conference games. Next month, they lost 7 of 8. They've been better as of late. 10 days ago, their first win over a ranked team all year, beating Tennessee by 15. What is the state of the Cats with the SEC tournament? Just a week away. We'll discuss it as we welcome you to the final Super Tuesday. It is presented by Progressive. Delighted to be alongside my partner, our final Super Tuesday, Jimmy Dykes. I am Carl Ravitch. This is important in a way for both of these teams, isn't it, Jimmy?
Absolutely. They got to feel good about themselves heading into Nashville next week, Ravi. And for Kentucky, what does that mean tonight? They're going to have to embrace ugly because that's what Ole Miss does with a basketball game. Ravi, they're terrific defensively, Ole Miss is. They turn you over about 25% of the possessions in a ball game. And we know Kentucky has struggled with turnovers this year. And if they can't handle the changing defenses of Ole Miss, it will be difficult for Kentucky to get their 9th win of the season. And how strange is that to say on March the 2nd?
Almost as strange as it is to say Illinois just blew out Michigan. Didn't see that coming. Our starting 5 for Kentucky: Devin Askew, Davion Mintz, Brandon Boston, Isaiah Jackson, and the man who just made a nice shot, Olivier Sarr, to start for Kentucky. On the other side, Ole Miss will start senior Devontae Shuler. Jarkel Jr. is a junior. Romello White, a senior. Luis Rodriguez, a sophomore. And KJ Buffin, a junior. A team that struggles to shoot from the outside, Ole Miss.
Yeah, they come in making Ole Miss 4 3-point shots per game at 27%. Offensively for Ole Miss, it's all about number 2 in White up top without the basketball. He is their go-to guy. Devontae Shuler, I think, has to have a 24, 25-point night. He's capable. I expect Kentucky to really shrink the floor defensively when he has that basketball.
Well, shot clock violation right out of the gate, first possession for Ole Miss.
And how about that win by Illinois, Ravi? And how they did it.
Yeah.
That's the type of loss that could shake Michigan for 3 or 4 days. Because they just got smoked. Every time I turned it on, Illinois was just all over them defensively, not allowing Michigan to run their stuff, and a message-sending win by the Illini.
Yeah, I mean, we've had your, your Jimmy Sweet 16, then your, Elite 8, and Michigan was at the top of that list. I assume now Illinois is going to be put up on that list, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the only one that thought Michigan going into tonight was the best team in the country. Alone. But, yeah, Michigan, Gonzaga, Baylor answered the call tonight. And, Illinois, I think they'd probably be 5th now after tonight's performance. Kentucky's got to move that ball. They held the ball against Florida on Saturday. When Ole Miss goes zone tonight, that ball's got to get hot. Some things we're going to talk through tonight. Going to talk about the state of Kentucky basketball, Rav. I'm going to weigh in on where they are and where they need to go. Mike Schmitz is going to talk about the draft guys. The Jets going to be rolling, and, of course, the SEC tournament next week.
Hard to believe the SEC tournament and Super Tuesday wraps tonight. The SEC tournament kicks next week. We know this. It's going to be unpredictable. The entire college basketball season has been unpredictable. It will be as well. Nice drive with the left from KJ Buffin.
Yeah, good hard drive by Buffin. Kentucky getting the ball out of Shuler's hands in the middle part of the floor, so he facilitates as a passer, and Buffin with a really hard knife drive to the rim.
Buffin thought about it, then the backdoor cut didn't work for Luis Rodriguez. Here's Shuler, picked up by Isaiah Jackson. Give and go. Pretty move. That ball deflected in by Sarr off the backboard.
Really well done by Shuler. Kind of a yo-yo play. Just get it, give it up, and get it right back. You have to keep Ole Miss out of the lane tonight if you're Kentucky defensively. Tighten that into the floor. You get Shuler to give the ball up, but then Buffin just attacks and right through the elbow. And that is a problem. And there's the last play, just lack of awareness by Jackson. Doesn't jump to the ball. The weak side defense in there, and Ole Miss is up 6-2.
Keon Brooks, free throw line jumper is good.
Brooks has got to get going. 6 out of 21 from the field over his last 3 games.
Another guy who just never got it going, and maybe part of a broader look at Kentucky. Devin Askew played 30 minutes last game. Point guard didn't have a point. How about taking Olivier Sarr to the rack?
Yeah, he just absolutely whipped Sarr 6 feet in. That was just a body on body. Who's the tougher, more physical guy? And Sarr got blown up on the play.
Well, Sarr had a chance too on the other end to blow up Romello White, but he missed with the left-handed layup. And there's a hard drive and a foul on the floor.
Here's what I'm talking about. The play by Romello White. He's 6'8" and probably 240, but just goes to work, man. Olivier Sarr doesn't fight it, doesn't get his body low enough to have resistance, and just the whip around just shoves Sarr out of the way and says, thank you very much.
Take a look at Romello White, a transfer and a pretty high scorer when he was at Arizona State. There's the flush from White. 18 career double-doubles.
White is having his way with Olivier Sarr. Scoring before he ever touches the basketball because he's winning the battle, Ravi, with the legs.
Good start for Ole Miss. The drive, baseline jumper around and out. Over the top comes flying KJ Buffin, and that'll be Kentucky basketball. Now, oftentimes a breakdown can be either positive or negative. In the case of Kentucky, it will in fact be what has caused them to break down. Jimmy Dykes on the State of Hoop in Bluegrass Country, breaking down the Wildcats' worst season in a long time. With Jimmy Dykes, Carl Ravitch, and ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Visit progressive.com.
Ravi, there's nothing common about this year for Kentucky, and I've known Coach Cal for a long time. He and I had a good conversation today, and 8-14 is unacceptable. He'll be the first one to tell you that. I will say this to start with. He's averaged 31 wins a year over the past 15 years prior to this season. He's a Hall of Fame coach, but he knows 8-14 isn't acceptable. And there's no guarantee at Kentucky. The only guarantee at Kentucky is the expectations that you're supposed to win and the pressure that you feel. And Roy Williams felt it last year, 6-14 in ACC play. So there's no guarantee you're going to win because you're a blue blood. Ultimately, it falls on the shoulders of the head coach. Cal and I talked about it today. The same thing goes right now for Cal, for Roy Williams at North Carolina, Coach K, Izzo, Boeheim. Those guys have not met the standard either this year, but this is uncommonly low for Kentucky. So specifically to Kentucky right now, and what I do going forward. John Calipari has been caught without a guard that can break you down. Let me put that in a little bit bigger perspective. That's like Roy Williams being caught without bigs that can run. Mark Few being caught without skill at all 5 positions offensively. Nate Oates being caught without shooters. That's who John Calipari has always been, and he does not have that guard this year. That has to be fixed with your roster management and your recruiting from this year to next year. There is no John Wall, Tyreek Evans, Derrick Rose at Memphis, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That guy is not on Kentucky's roster right now. I don't know what they have coming in. I know they got a good point guard coming in, but that has to get fixed, and it only gets fixed in recruiting. Cal got caught without the one guy that he's always had. And the second thing is, I've gone into his practices before on the first day, and that stud freshman just jumps out. Kentucky missed this year, Ravi, overall with their freshman class, but in particular, they didn't get Cade Cunningham. They did not get an Evan Mobley. They did not get a Hunter Dickinson. They didn't get a Jalen Suggs. There's only 5 or 6 guys a year, I think, that come from high school to college that can change your program. Kentucky does not have that guy this year. They thought they did. The rankings backed it up. It didn't play out. The transfers that have come in, I'm not sure they have the DNA that Calipari really needs with this group right now. Old leads your team. That voice leads your team more than any other voice. And I'm not sure it's that rough, tough, dogfight style that they got out of Mintz and particularly Sarr this year that I think has also been a little bit of an issue. So at the end of the day, Ravi, I will say this. Even after a good year as a head coach, you evaluate almost everything in your program. After a losing year, you evaluate every single thing in your program. Your philosophy, yourself, your staff. How are we going to play going forward? How are we going to recruit? How are we going to work? Who are we? Is our system sound? I think that's going to be a very thorough evaluation from Coach Cal after this season. I will steal a line from Tony Bennett. Cal and I talked about that a little bit earlier this year. Adversity can buy you a ticket to a place you could have never gone if you use it to your advantage. I think that's what Cal will do with this year. I think he'll learn from it. He fully understands the expectations at Kentucky. And I think this will be the year that changes and determines what he does going forward. I'll say it one more time. He's got 31 wins a year over the last 15 years. He knows the expectations. And speaking with him today, all this has done is fueled his fire, and it is very clear to him what needs to be fixed, and I have full belief that it will be fixed. Not this year, but next year's roster has to look different.
One of those guys they thought was going to be a lot better, Brandon Boston. You know, in a lot of ways, Jimmy, I hear what you say, but is this a one-off? Is it aberrational? Did they just miss on all of their guys? Do you try harder recruiting? Like, he's been great at recruiting. Isaiah Jackson is a NBA player. Are we overreacting to one-off, or is this, do you think, a trend at Kentucky?
No, I do not think it's a trend. I don't think it's a trend because I know how John Calipari's wired. He's always kind of been out in front of the game in recruiting, how he's branded his product, all those things. I will say this. I'm saying that because I think he understands this offseason is crucial. Everything will be evaluated. Everything will be looked at. And there will be changes made in that roster. I expect Kentucky to bring in, again, another 7 or 8 man class. And he will not miss, I don't think, going forward on, are you a fighter? Are you tough? Are you a worker? Do you have some dog in you? I think they missed some in this recruiting cycle. I know they did. And it's not a guarantee, Ravi. I've been in that spot. You know, and Cal's not the only one that's missed. I think Jalen Johnson at Duke, I think that was a miss. It didn't work out like you thought it was going to work out. There's no specific formula, but Cal will learn from it and be better because of it.
I know, but I'd ask, how do you change the formula? Do you focus like Musselman does and get deeper into transfers? They have the one-time, perhaps immediate play transfer next year. Do you go for some of the older guys with a voice who maybe are more talented than the ones you brought in? Recruiting, he's great at. To me, this is a miss year. You had a bad year, but if you're only going to recruit better, there's still a chance you miss.
Well, and that's for everyone in college basketball. But with this conversation with me today, when I started talking about recruiting, everything's on the table. Transfers, high school players, international guys. But I think the conversation will go deeper as we need to wrap this up and move on in terms of, are we making sure we're getting our kind of guys? And again, do we have a breakdown guard? That's what Cal has always had. That's when he's been at his best. He doesn't have it this year, and you have to get it fixed with your roster, with recruiting, and making sure you are going after that guy every single year, and you're getting not one, but two.
Well, maybe the 4-star guard, Nolan Hickman, will be that. They got a 5-star, Damian Collins coming in next year. Oscar Sheboy as well from West Virginia. Good stuff, 1-point game. Back with Dr. Jimmy Dykes, who's now dissected Kentucky, Michigan State, and Michigan Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. All of a sudden, we're looking at a bounce-back game for Michigan. If you didn't see it earlier right here on ESPN, part of Super Tuesday, they were trounced by the Fighting Illini. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, Texas and Oklahoma in the Big 12. Another great game, another kind of pre-conference tournament, pre-NCAA tournament. tough test for both of those teams. The Red River Showdown, both those games with NCAA tournament implications.
How about Baylor wrapping up that Big 12 title? Man, how good were they? The bounce-back version of Baylor tonight was what we thought they were going to be coming out of COVID, and they got it fixed. That's really big for Ole Miss. They're shooting 27% from three. They're only making 4 a game. They make 6 or 7. They're hard to handle.
That's Matt Morrell. He's a 31% three-point shooter. They set that play up out of the break. Now lead at 15-11. Great pass.
He doesn't play for Kentucky.
Great pass, though. I mean, he was wide open in the corner. Wide open.
So the first time I believe Ole Miss goes to that 1-3-1, Kentucky flunks the test. You've got to screen that middle a bit, get downhill. Kermit Davis is so good at 1-3-1, shift into a 2-3, and even from that, they'll go to a man-to-man within the same possession.
Only Kentucky's second turnover. Morrell down low. Jackson and Sarr both on the floor now for the Wildcats. And that shot contested. Mintz thought he blocked it. That'll send Jarkel Joyner to the free throw line.
Jarkel Joyner, such a big-time scorer, Cal State Bakersfield, and his ability to drive the ball through that elbow or even lower elbow and get to the logo, that's way too easy. And Mintz goes up top, looked like he got a lot of ball, right? That's just a tough call, but the problem is the ball getting to the logo to begin with.
Ole Miss 13-10, 8-8 in conference under Kermit Davis. As he tells you, we've talked a lot about Kentucky. Ole Miss had it going here for a while. They'd won 4 in a row. They were postponed against LSU, lost to Mississippi State, then beat Missouri. Felt like we're okay. And then kind of a stunning loss to Vanderbilt, who was playing without Daisu and Pippen Jr. And that seemed to really rock Kermit and the Ole Miss program a little bit. It was one they had a chance to win. They were part of Joe Lunardi's first 4 out, next 4 out. They were on that mind and in that conversation. No more.
Yeah, his defense, Kermit Davis' defense, Ravi, let him down that night in Nashville. And Jerry Stackhouse ran some really good stuff with guys that didn't get a lot of playing time prior to that ball game. But they were stunned, I think, because Kermit's guys have been really good defensively throughout this year. That's what got him to that first 4 out. And now they're in that same situation as Kentucky. Win the whole thing in Nashville, or your NCAA hopes are done. Kentucky has not scored yet, Ravi, against that 1-3-1. And Kermit he trusts his gut with that defensive call. The 2-3 matchup has been his best defense all year, but he's going to stay with it right now. Yep. 1-3-1, the ball gets down the sidelines. It will morph to a 2-3 zone.
Mintz and Askew playing catch out top. Not making much progress. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. As Sarr takes it into the paint, finds a back cutter, and a dump off to Jackson, and he'll get fouled. Good play by Jacob Toppin, who's into the game on that baseline cut.
Yeah, and a good play by Sarr, man, to sprint, be a pressure release against that defense. Kind of caught Ole Miss in that lag transition time between the 1-3-1 and the 2-3. Sarr with a really good cut, and Toppin backed it up with a second cut without the ball. I'm talking about, watch Sarr. Boom. Drives it. Toppin gets his defensive guy buffing with his head turned the ball, and nice drop off for Jackson, who I think is the best pro prospect out of the entire SEC.
He's got good numbers, and he has moved up on our prospect list to number 15. But in the SEC, you think about guys, especially some freshmen, Tennessee, Springer, Johnson. A lot of folks high on Sharif Cooper and what he can bring, but you see he's currently the 15th ranked NBA prospect, and he wasn't always that high. He's asserted himself here late in the season for Kentucky.
And Ravi, think about it. He's on a Kentucky team without a point guard, a go-by-you guard that gets him 3 or 4 easy ones a game. You put him on a typical Kentucky team, and everybody knows about this cat. And you could put him on an NBA floor tonight, and he would impact the game.
3 on the shot clock, and a hurry-up 3 from the corner is good. And that was over the outstretched arm of Isaiah Jackson. No answer for Kentucky. How about that contested 3?
Yeah, Ole Miss now 2 out of 2 from the three-point line. Schuler's going to draw so much attention. 3 blue jerseys converge. Jackson's in that help spot, and even with a long wingspan, just can't quite get that far corner shot. And I said it earlier, Ole Miss, not known for the three-point shooting. You let them start getting loose, and that is a real concern. Sammy Hunter just let one rip.
Hunter had it and decided not to take it. 12 on the shot clock. He's open for another 3, and he will take that. That one's a little too strong, but the offensive rebound goes to K.J. Buffin. Foul against Ole Miss on the floor. Morrell missed a wide open 2-point jump shot. Wide open.
I know Ole Miss has banged in a couple of threes, but if you're Kentucky, you have to stay disciplined with short closeouts and keep that ball out of the painted part of the floor and rebound your tails off.
Dante Allen in, that one's off Ole Miss. Allen has struggled this season too. Now, Jimmy, how many alley-oops are you used to seeing from Kentucky in a given game, let alone a given season? You just haven't seen those this year because the lack of that penetrating point guard and really the fast breaking too. That's another aspect that's not part of this team.
And every Kentucky fan knows that play you're talking about, that point guard getting downhill and finding the big on the backside of the rim for the easy lob. I can't remember the last time we saw that play from Kentucky, and it's all about not having that explosive guard.
Jackson stepped in, that one off the foot of Hunter, and it'll be Kentucky basketball. 12 points here with 8 minutes to go in half number 1. Morrell will go out. Luis Rodriguez, the sophomore out of Los Angeles, back in.
Kentucky has been at their best the last 3 or 4 ball games, playing fast on offense. Shooting that thing in the first 12 or 14 seconds, but against this 1-3-1, shifting to a 2-3, very difficult to get quick shots.
They find Brooks. He drives, too strong.
Ole Miss playing with their hair on fire defensively, man. That's how you play that into the floor. You can hear them talking, man, at all 5 spots, and Kermit's voice is just as loud as the 5 guys on the floor.
The 1-3-1's causing problems. Kentucky is 5 of 20 from the floor, and they are down 21-12, 7:23 on the clock on Super Tuesday.
Ravi, you and I know Kermit Davis is a guy with a heart for the right things, and that was one of them this past summer. He shared a story with us earlier today. Boston Smith, I know you're watching this game. Boston Smith is he lives in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. He played high school basketball, Ravi, at Pittman High School. Was a good high school basketball player, a huge basketball fan, a huge SEC fan. And Kermit spoke with him on the phone yesterday because Boston Smith had a horrific car accident when he was 18 years old 3 years ago. And it has been a miracle to watch this kid, according to Kermit, fight through rehab. He's now walking with a walker. And Kermit said, my heart was completely swelled with pride and how I view life after my phone conversation yesterday with Boston Smith. So Boston, I don't know you yet. I hope I get to. I just know Kermit told us all about you and your toughness and how you're fighting through a very difficult thing in life. And I just want to tell you that I love you from afar. I appreciate you. And Kermit Davis absolutely fell in love with you in that phone call. And man, you keep fighting. You keep battling what you're going through, my man. There's a lot of people that are pulling for you.
For sure. Kermit was touched and inspired by that story, and hope that continues to go in the right direction. So far, Ole Miss has had it going their way, up 21-12. The story of the game's been there, shooting from the floor, 8 of 16, and that 1-3-1 defense. Herman said they'd use it. It hasn't been as effective, he thought, as the 2-3 over the course of the season. But if you're Kentucky, how do you break it, Jimmy? How do you break this?
You got to drive that ball through the elbow, and you can't play catch with it up top. Because once you get it below that free throw line extended, Ravi, it becomes a 2-3. The quicker you can get it there, the quicker you can get that ball side to side against the 2-3.
Mintz penetrates, and he got fouled.
Yeah, you got to do that if you're Kentucky. The way Ole Miss is climbing up into your blue jersey, you have to go by that pressure. And Mintz has been probably the most consistent guy Kentucky's had this year doing it.
This speaks to the lack of, as you said, sort of the point guard to run the point, but it's a universal issue. The points per game would be up, and how spoiled has Kentucky been recently when you think about the P.J. Washingtons and the Heroes and the Quickleys and the Maxis, and the list goes on forever. That's not even getting into the guys who have the banners hanging at the practice facility and are making billions of dollars in the NBA and superstars, but they have been spoiled by the players that they've had there, all of them NBA quality. Think about what Tennessee had a few years ago, what Kentucky has had over the last couple of years. And you look at the league this year, and it's dominated by the Alabamas and the Arkansas. Both teams winning tonight.
Right, that was really good offense by Ole Miss. Kentucky did a pretty good job of tightening the court, shrinking the court. And Ole Miss just moved the ball and got their middle rim runner right down the middle third of the floor.
Brandon Boston back in. He has it now, and he'll pull up for that jumper and throw an air ball up.
Yeah, tough shot, man. Taking a 16-footer, a challenge 16-footer.
Jump shot missed. Battle for the boards. Keon Brooks has it, and Wildcats had a 3-on-2 at one point. Mintz slowed down. Here's Boston, wide open three. Got it.
Yeah, Boston last 3 games has struggled shooting the ball from out there, 3 out of 15. But he has to make sure he takes the ones that are there. Don't shot fake a clean look, just let it fly.
This late in the season, Jimmy, this is the first game that Ole Miss played Kentucky. And you just wonder, you're Kermit Davis, you see the record, you watch the film, but because it's Kentucky, you may have a hard time believing it until you see it that, oh my gosh, you know what, they are struggling.
Yeah. That was Kentucky's best defensive possession of this game.
It was, yeah. Other than maybe the first possession.
They didn't get overstretched. Yeah, they were tight. They didn't get overstretched. Keep the floor tight against Ole Miss is the key going forward. And pretty good offense by Kentucky. Mintz kind of punches that defense in the mouth and gets them to respect that basketball around the rim, and Boston just steps right into one. So 23-16 game. Kentucky hasn't been clean on offense yet, but they're hanging in there because their defense has gotten better the last 4 minutes.
Keon Brooks, one of those, I'm not hesitating. I see a shot, I'm taking it, and he knocks it down.
Stay inside that three-point line. Don't even come out there right now. Good short closeouts by Kentucky. That's a much better job. That's it.
Looked like a walk. Instead, it's a turnover, and here's another 3-on-2. Good movement by Mintz to get open, and he knocks down a 3.
Yeah, Ravi, it all started, though, on the other end. Kentucky had short closeouts. They talked. They trapped the life out of Schuler, made him give it up. Kentucky's defense has them right back in this game, and the offense is starting to fire as well.
Sure do. Under 4 to go, and it's a 2-point game. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball brought to you by Wendy's. Try the new jalapeno popper chicken sandwich and salad today at participating U.S. Wendy's. Wildcats warming up, 23-21.
Yeah, this Duke-Georgia Tech game, which obviously we don't see right now, but this Duke-Georgia Tech game, you're talking about Georgia Tech, they're doing to Duke what everyone's done to Kentucky all season long. And Michigan State fighting through it. I think they'll be an NCAA tournament team.
Highlights ahead, double dip for Ravi. Baseball today, and then basketball right now.
Work with superstars today in Tim Kirch and Eduardo Perez, and a superstar tonight, Jimmy Dykes. As we continue here, Ole Miss 23, Kentucky 21. Looking forward to the halftime report with the guys.
I tell you who a superstar is, Ravi. You and I did Kentucky at Georgia Tech. Remember Moses Wright?
I do.
That might be the best player the country doesn't know about. I think he had 23 and 10 tonight right now. That's a grown man.
Josh Pastner's got him playing well. He was dealing with all sorts of COVID protocols early on, and he didn't have his team practicing as a group, like most, but it affected him early. Illinois and Ohio State, Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern. What a Saturday showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. And then a game that never seems to fail. It always lives up to its billing, regardless of rankings or not. Duke, Carolina, Saturday, 6 o'clock Eastern time. Kentucky's warming up a little bit. Keon Brooks buries a foul line jump shot. He's got 8. And it's a 2-point lead, and it wouldn't be if Ole Miss wasn't shooting 50% from the floor.
Duke Carolina kind of feels like you win, you're in, you lose, you're out. Certainly not the common thing you talk about with that game. Boy, Ole Miss, they don't shoot that three well, but they can just find ways to pound you around the rim.
There's that trap that Mintz steps through. KJ Buffin, 9 points to lead the way for Ole Miss.
Don't let the ball stick, Kentucky. Move it. That thing's got to be hot. You held it too much against Florida's zone. You can't hold it too much tonight.
Olivier Sarr will pick up the foul, go shoot 2 free throws, nearly a 3-point play.
I think it was it KJ Buffin, that last basket by Ole Miss? Yeah, 5 and white. It's a good job of getting. He came out of the short corner. When coaches talk or announcers talk about the short corner, that's exactly where he was. He was heading towards the corner. He stops it short, so he made a play out of the short corner, got his butt to the baseline, made himself as big of a target as he could for the passer. Really well done.
Romello White back into the game for Ole Miss, and Isaiah Jackson, who ran into a bunch of foul trouble this last game. As Kermit said, he's the highest potential of about anyone in the league when it comes to the next level play. Called him the most improved big man in the conference, and he played only 16 minutes against those Florida Gators. Like the one team that doesn't get a lot of talk, a lot of love in the SEC when it comes to what they might be able to do in the SEC, if not NCAA tournament, the Gators of Florida and Mike White.
Well, what did Florida do when you and I had them at West Virginia? They won the ball game, and they won it, I believe, by double figures. And this league has taken a little bit of a hit nationally. I say just push the brakes on that a little bit, and we'll see what happens in that NCAA tournament. Because Florida, another team more than capable, just like Alabama and Arkansas, of getting to that second weekend. Good, hard, determined drive by Toppin.
That didn't work well for Matthew Morrell. Not only did he get the foul, he appeared to tweak an ankle, so he's limping around. Here's Joe Lunardi's SEC bracketology. Alabama a projected 2 seed, Arkansas a 4. Moody and Justin Smith combined for 50 tonight as Arkansas won. I think Alabama, they put 100 and, did Arkansas put up 101 tonight?
It was Arkansas, 101.
Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas is playing as well as anyone in the country. And I had someone hit me up on Twitter earlier about where would you have Arkansas right now? I think they're about the 10th best team in the country. And they have played their way. 10 straight wins now in SEC by the Arkansas Razorbacks?
Yep, beat South Carolina 101-73. Alabama a winner over Auburn 70-58. Long 3 results in a long rebound, and from behind, Jacob Toppin with the foul.
Didn't get a body on a body, man. The shot was taken. You know it's a 27% three-point team if you're Kentucky. You know there's going to be some long rebounds. If you're a guard and you don't come down and you don't hit your guy, you're giving Ole Miss a chance. On March 2nd, Ravi, start looking for teams that are hot, they're healthy, and they're hungry. Kind of sums up Arkansas.
The 3 H's.
3 H's. Man to man, you got to move.
Good hands that time by Buffin. He knocked it right off of Jackson's leg, and a turnover for Kentucky. And now an open three. Got it. That's defense into offense at Ole Miss by 5.
Yeah, that's all Devontae Shuler, man. He drove that thing into a crowd, but did not force it in a crowd. Instead, the kick out to Jarkel Joyner. Sometimes, like it is for Kentucky, that's a 19% three-point shooter that's already busted a couple on him.
Boston, the penetration, nice play, and there's Isaiah Jackson.
Yeah, you call for the lob to the big, and Kentucky answers.
I think the last time I remember seeing it, it was Boston who threw it.
They could continue to trap that ball out of Shuler's hands up top, making someone else make a shot. Boy, Kentucky, you're not boxing off, and that's what's happened to you.
And Buffin again, he's in double digits.
Yeah, that frustration by Cal, man. That shot's taken. You've got to hit your guy, find the ball, and fetch the ball. Kentucky not doing any of those three.
Ten and a half, Sarr all the way to the hole. He's going to get fouled.
Ole Miss with a little bit of a late first half push. It all started with good hands by Buffin. Just said, give it to me. Just the rip down on Jackson. Devontae Shuler, watch. Draw a crowd. Don't force it in a crowd. Read the jerseys. Yeah, that's a great example, man. The defense tells you what to do with the ball. And then just coming in again from the short corner. Buffin's been a cutter out of the short corner. He's been an offensive rebounder out of the short corner.
Olivier Sarr averaging just 10 points a game as Boston will end his half on the bench. Sarr makes the free throws.
This will be Devontae Shuler bringing the ball with speed. Kermit trusting him to make the right play. Get it to Shuler. Good job by Kentucky to take him out of it.
With 3 on the shot clock, that one is off the front iron to take Isaiah Jackson out so he doesn't pick up his second foul. He only has 1 in the first half. Ole Miss leads it by 3. Good first half for KJ Buffin. Good first half for Ole Miss. Their defense holds Kentucky to 29. They're a great team when it comes to wins and losses, Ole Miss, when they hold you under 60. They're trending in that direction right now. Kevin DeGandhi, Seth Greenberg, LaFonso Ellis. They're coming up. The halftime report. The presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's. Try the new jalapeno popper chicken sandwich and salad today at participating U.S. Wendy's. It's 32-29. UK ended the half going 5 for 5 after going on a 6-25 drought in the opening 20. KJ Buffin leading the way with 11.
Yeah, he's played with a lot of energy, Ravi. I mean, he's driven the ball right through Kentucky's defense a couple of times, and his big body down low has really caused Kentucky problems. He's kind of winning those contact plays around that restricted arc. And KJ Buffin right now with 11 points. He's only missed 2 shots. He got to the free throw line 4 times and 7 big rebounds. And a couple of stats that jump out to me. Kentucky, how about this? Only 4 turnovers in the game. That's good by Kentucky, taking care of the basketball. Kentucky, though, being out-rebounded by 6. And those are some of the things you need to keep an eye on now this next 20 minutes.
They trailed by 10. They fought back. Brooks and Jackson 8 points each, leading Kentucky 7 of 14, 6 rebounds. Olivier Sarr, he played 13 minutes, 5 points, 1 of 4 shooting of the Kentucky big men. You hear him yelling, watch that hook. Buffin in traffic. He's surrounded by blue shirts, and he's able to pick up the foul. Well, Bernie Scott Van Pelt tonight. We'll take a look at the top moments from the NBA's Big Blue Nation. There's a whole handful of those guys who are getting it done in the league. How Tuesday changed the NCAA tournament. We'll get into that. And the fight for the top. Third place Bucks are in action. Scott Van Pelt, plus he will dive into the best thing he saw today. Our spring training coverage began today, Jimmy, and one of the Tampa Bay Rays, Brett Phillips, kind enough to wear a microphone and an earpiece. Tremendously entertaining. First of 4 spring training games that we have on the network during the day. So if you get a chance, flip it on. You get some real baseball with some fans in the stands as the major leagues come back. And this season, college basketball, our final Super Tuesday. Sarr 3. Got it.
I think that's who he is at his core. I think he's a pick and pop big guy. You know, he made 3 out of 5 threes versus Arkansas on February the 9th. He's only made 1 out of 5 the last 4 games. To me, that's kind of who he is. He's going to lose the push and shove match around the rim, and he can jump up and make some perimeter shots for you.
Fly by on Isaiah Jackson, and Toppin gets the rebound. Kentucky with a chance to pull ahead or tie. Encouraging that Isaiah Jackson had only 1 foul in the first half, a near turnover.
Probably a ball screen for Mintz up top. Handle that point guard spot now. Takes the ball out of the hands of Askew.
5 on the shot clock, and Toppin 30 feet from the basket. Now even further away. It's Mintz. He fires it up. Oh, it goes. Davion Mintz.
Run that play again.
That could easily have been a 4-point play. There was a whole heck of a lot of contact.
Yes.
So Kentucky, its first lead in forever. Isaiah Jackson with the block. Oh, look out. Muffin turned around, saw he had a lane, then he dribbled and lost it. Think they could replicate the previous play, Jimmy?
You know, it's the ball screen. They try to go pick and pop for Sarr. They crowd him and he drives it. That's a really good job by Sarr. Stay with that action. Make them respect your 3. If they crowd you, he's got the ability to go by it. Watch Olivier Sarr. Man, that's a really good release. I go all the way back to September when the Kentucky staff said at the time their best 2 shooters were Mintz and Sarr. And there's the one that absolutely could have been a chance for a 4-point play.
Davion Mintz absolutely tried to create that contact and get the 4-point play, but instead only a 3. As Olivier Sarr shoots free throws, 78% free throw shooter. And just like that, Kentucky, who led for about a minute, is now up by 3.
If you're Kentucky, don't get your defense stretched out. Keep that thing tight, shrink the floor, guard those elbows, guard that nail. Because Ole Miss is trying to hammer that ball inside on you right now.
Mintz was on the ground. Schuler had a chance, and he did take advantage of it. Knocks down a 3. Devontae Schuler's got 7.
Yeah, good job by Schuler to race into his catch spot and let it fly.
Long pass, bad pass. A trailer, Buffin. Ooh, he charged. Good defense by Davion Mintz.
Yeah, Kentucky, they did not get organized that last trip down against that Ole Miss extended defense. And there's the...
Oh, it's
that's Olivier
Sarr.
Yeah, he gets outside that restricted arc, and Buffin just rolls him over. That's an easy call to make. Kentucky now with their
goes
guards
back
up
to
top.
that active 1-3-1. Worked in the first half. This time it's Isaiah Jackson. That's too deep, and he's too good.
Yeah, too quick. Really good Isaiah Jackson as we've gone from November to December to February 9 to March. With his instincts around the rim, man, just 1 or 2 bounces and comes right back with that opposite shoulder stuff. And the 3 balls falling for Ole Miss tonight. They came in making 4, and that's their 5th made 3 so far in this game.
Devontae Schuler scored 25 in that loss to Vanderbilt. He's got 10 now with back-to-back 3s. Toppin will try. That's too strong. Sarr had the rebound, and a good effort there as Schuler came in to tie him up.
Yeah, the offense starting to pick up the pace just a little bit. There's that move by Jackson, just so good at sticking that pivot foot, not traveling around the rim. He's got pretty good speed into it, so it's not easy to do. And there's the 3 ball by Schuler. Just shoots a really good ball. Hasn't been really consistent with it this year. Comes in by 29% in conference play, but he can get on a roll.
Mintz way downtown. That's off. Jackson, did he push off? He did. That'll be number 2 on Isaiah Jackson. Now, Mike Schmitz, who is one of our NBA draft expert analysts, will be joining us after the break. We'll talk about Isaiah Jackson and just how much he's developed. Ask him about Brandon Boston as well. Schuler finds himself in a double team, dribbles out of it, and he's feeling it, you can tell. Ole Miss a little out of sorts on this trip down. Take it inside. Jackson with another block.
Could have been a flop call on Schuler.
Boston flipped it up, doesn't go, but there's Olivier Sarr on the offensive glass.
Yeah, I told you Kentucky was down 6 at the halftime on the boards, and that message, I'm sure, was sent by Cal, because great activity by Kentucky. And that ball's on both glasses right now.
Push on Jackson. He's picked up 2 quick ones, and that'll give him 3. Mike Schmitz will join us, talk about the future NBA prospect. That is Isaiah Jackson. If at first you block it, well, then take another whack at it. Block it twice.
Ravi, Jimmy.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Keep us posted on that. Kentucky leading this one 41-40. We take a look at our 2021 NBA Draft first round projections. Keon Johnson out of Tennessee is high at number 7. Trey Mann, Florida, number 32. There you see Brandon Boston and Isaiah Jackson involved in this game. Mike Schmitz is our NBA Draft expert. He joins us now. So we kind of all see what Jackson's abilities are. You tell me how he translates to the NBA. Like, what does the NBA like about someone like Isaiah Jackson?
Well, he's a pogo stick athlete, first of all. 6'10", 7'3" wingspan, but it's really his defensive versatility that teams love. You know, every NBA team wants a guy who can step out and switch on the perimeter and then can also put a lid on the rim defensively as a rim protector. And, I mean, his per 40 numbers are pretty eye-popping. He's the only player in our top 100 averaging at least 5 blocks and 1 steal per 40 minutes. So that's what teams love about him, just the defensive versatility that he offers in addition to his physical.
Hey, Mike, I know B.J. Boston came in projected as a top 10 or 12 pick at one point. That number has now dropped for him. What are you seeing from his game, and what are the concerns, and why is he dropping like he is in your eyes?
He just needs to make more shots. You know, this is a guy who teams saw as potentially being a big-time shot maker at 6'6", 6'7", and you know, anytime you're shooting under 30% from 3, as a guy who's a 3-level scorer type, you know, you want to see that number go up. And I think what's tough for the one-and-done types this year who are having struggles at the collegiate ranks is they don't have the college resume to stand on, because NBA scouts usually see them at McDonald's All-American, Nike Hoop Summit, and those events were canceled. So the majority of high-ranking executives haven't really seen a guy like B.J. Boston outside of the Kentucky system. So, you know, you hope that he gets it going a little bit, because I've seen him at the high school level, AAU, you know, really fill it up at a high level. Thought he was going to be a lottery pick coming into this year, but he's just got to make more shots and impact the game in other areas in addition to scoring the ball.
Michael, thanks so much for being with us. Look forward to seeing you at the SEC tournament. That's Mike Schmitz, our NBA draft expert. Davion Mintz buries a 3. He's at 10 now. And Kentucky up 44-40. The point there, Jimmy, that's interesting, you look at Kentucky, they play 22 games. You take away all those showcase events, And it seems like we're dealing with a bit of a crisis of confidence here. If you don't make your shots in the beginning, it almost snowballs on you. That feels to me like what's affected that guy right there.
Yeah, well, to me, it's more than just his ability to make shots. I mean, he's got to drive the ball and draw NBA fouls. I mean, he's going to be an NBA 2 guard with that size, and he's got to be tougher defending his position. His body's got to fill out. I have a lot of questions about Boston. I have very few about Isaiah Jackson. And Mintz in this game right now at the point guard has been so good for Kentucky. He now has 6 assists in this ball game. 5 of them occurred after he moved to that point guard spot. He's also a threat to come off and knock down threes. He's already made 3 in this ball game for Kentucky. And I would play through Davion Mintz, and I'm sure Cal's seeing the same thing.
Big story in the game right now. KJ Buffin, who was the leading scorer going into the half. He's got a couple of points, but he's got 4 fouls. He's coming out of the game. 4 fouls, 13 minutes to go. And that's a big story in this one for Ole Miss.
Yeah, because he's been the push and shove guy. Yep, for Ole Miss in those battles. Now look at Kentucky, up 5, now 6. They have done a really good job, in my opinion, on Devontae Shuler. I know he's got 10 points. They've gotten the ball out of his hands. Shuler has only taken 6 shots in this game. The kid with the basketball right now. He's had a lot of games where he takes 18 or 20 shots, and Kentucky's just not letting him do it.
Dribbling all over the place. Fires up a 3, and Devontae Shuler knocks down his 3rd of the game.
He doesn't need much room, though. He's got that step back now with quickness. And just a little bit of an opening, man. He will let it fire.
Look at how tenacious that Ole Miss defense is. Keon Brooks hard with the left. Nice play, Keon Brooks.
If you're John Calipari, you tell your guys, I hope they stay in the 1-3-1. You send the message of, if they do, we're going to punish them. Get that thing to the wing extended and drive it right through the rim. Some of the head games, Ravi, sometimes play with your guys. Just you convince them in the timeout, although you might be concerned about as a coach, you send a different message saying, I hope they press us. I hope they stay in this defense. Really feed confidence to your kids. And to me, Kentucky has done a better job of handling that 1-3-1 as this game has gone on. Good job by Boston to get it out of the trap, and then Keon Brooks drives it right through that elbow and gets to the far side of the rim. Finishes through contact. Could have been an and one.
They stay in it. 1-3-1. Mintz likely will move down to that. Nutley comes out to get the ball. That corner spot open on the swing. Instead, it's Sarr. Penetration jump hook too strong. And here comes Shuler. Drive picked off Toppin. Here's Mintz. Oh, he went up hard, and that ball is blocked at the rim. No foul. How about the effort by Luis Rodriguez? Not up in here.
I told you Ole Miss thrives when the game gets scrambled and the game gets ugly. And there's nothing ugly about this. This is just all-out effort. Meets you at the rim, and that time the rim collision is won by Ole Miss.
Exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Wendy's. The new jalapeno popper chicken sandwich and salad today at participating U.S. Wendy's. Wendy's, and it's knocking on the door. It'll start next Wednesday. Take a look at our bracket right now. First round, if it were ending today, Vandy and A&M. Kentucky will take on Mississippi State. Tennessee will get the winner of Vanderbilt, A&M, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Missouri, Georgia. Those things can change based on, of course, the game still played tonight and Saturday. But Alabama, the 1 seed, locked. 5-point game.
This isn't a big stretch. I'm just telling you, Alabama and Arkansas are the 2 teams that I think right now are going to be in that final. They're playing the best basketball of anyone in this league. Florida is the team, like you said earlier, to keep an eye on. They still have a lot of pieces, man. But those are the 3. I got a question for you. The Big Ten or the field? in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, you know, based on what Michigan did tonight against Illinois, getting rolled out of there, it just reminded you that this season is so unpredictable that the idea that it's going to be Michigan or Gonzaga or Baylor, that was just one of those, hold on a second, everybody. If Michigan can get thumped that way, it's just not going to be as predictable, even at the top. Then I would take the field, Jimmy, to be honest with you. Another three for Ole Miss. Sammy Hunter off the bench with a couple of threes.
How about Sammy Hunter tonight, Ravi? 1 out of 7 from the three-point line in SEC play, and he's knocked down a couple in this ball game.
Brandon Boston let fly around the rim and out. It's Schuler. All right, hard to beat, Jimmy. We got 10 minutes to go. We're tied 48-48. And Hunter
we're headed.
asserting himself.
You. With 4 minutes to go, this will be a tight ball game that Kentucky will be in once again.
Dreaded 4-minute story.
Good job by Morrell to find the backside bomb. That's what that is, man. You find the backside of the defense. Hunter at 6'9" is a pretty good target, pretty big target. Nice release on the ball. Doesn't look like a guy that comes in shooting 14% from three. It really came off of his wrist with a quiet stroke. Last in the SEC coming in, and tonight they've banged down 7 of them on Kentucky. And go right back to what Kermit Davis said. When we make 7 or 8 threes, we're pretty hard to beat because our defense is so good. Coach, you're there tonight.
7 of 11. Keon Brooks finds Jackson in the paint. So hard to stop. He went up and almost dunked that off the backboard.
That was special. First of all, the post up was with great quickness, and once he got his hands on that basketball, it was over. As quick of a move have I seen in the college game this year from a kid 6'11".
I did like Mike Schmidt's description. He's a pogo stick. And we saw it there. The problem for him, though, Jimmy, is he picks up fouls. He now has 4.
He fouls almost 6 times per 40 minutes, and it's the casual ones that get him. So it's a pogo stick that's going to be a lottery pick. That speed right there. That speed around and that speed up. Hard to guard.
But he's got to come out with 9 minutes to go because he's got 4 of them. Mello White converts. What do you think the conversation is there?
It's got to be about the foul trouble. I mean, that's what has plagued him so many times. He's so valuable. He's got to learn. Sometimes you get beat, man. Just throw a wall up and don't foul. A lot of contact.
Schuler just dribbled himself into a turnover, and it's Boston. They got numbers. Toppin wanted the alley-oop, but he took it away from Sarr. He put his hand up and said, "I'm here." And Olivier Sarr nearly intercepted it.
Kentucky continues to make life difficult on Schuler. Now he's shooting a high percentage. He's 5 out of 7. It's the number of shot attempts that I have my eyes on the most.
Hunter in the corner. Is he digging another one? Yes, he is. Have a night.
There's something that Ken Palm tracks called the luck factor. Yep. Kentucky has been at the bottom of it all year long. And this is I don't know if this figures in or not, but when a 14% shooter has made 3 on you, I don't know what to say. Better play through it, though. If you're Kentucky, you're down 4.
Long 2, Keon Brooks. Sammy Hunter is 3 of 4 from 3. He's got 11 points, including 2 free throws. So he's only made 3-pointers tonight with the 2 free throws. And they left him wide open that time after that high screen. Schuler, instead of the 3, takes a 2. No good. Sammy Hunter helped with that offensive rebound. Get out of here. Didn't make that one. Come on.
But he shot it like it was going to go in.
He sure did.
LaMelo White got hit hard.
Yeah, he's down on the
Officials need
floor,
to
and he
stop the
hasn't
game.
moved in a bit. Yep. So we'll check on the condition of LaMelo White, as Hunter's 11 is a career high. Let's see what happened, Jimmy. It seems like it might have been a collision on the floor. There's White going down on the floor, and right there he got landed on by Olivier Sarr. Toppin, I should say. So we hope he's okay. We'll take a timeout as they deal with LaMelo White and his injury. Jimmy Dykes in the truck, looking forward to the SEC tournament. Our producer Scott Matthews, director Derek Mobley, and now on the trainer's table getting looked at, LaMelo White. Cut his chin, we saw that. Now you can see the flashlights in the eyes, checking the pupils.
Yeah, he has 5 of the 30 rebounds that Ole Miss has in this game. Ole Miss with a +10 rebound advantage.
Deion Brooks with 10. They get it to Sarr deep in the paint. It's going to be Boston who launches. That's way off. He goes in to try to tie up Ole Miss. Did he succeed?
Ravi, get the ball inside to Sarr, who's a 7-footer. And I believe he had 1 foot on the restricted arc when he caught it, and he never got to that left shoulder and got that jump hook going. And they call it a tie-up? But they should have.
They did call it a tie-up, and it was possession arrow Ole Miss. Buffin's back on the floor, as you obviously saw. He's got 4 fouls. He was
Ravi, this time of
after
year,
that tie-up.
If you're going to win your conference championship or sights set on the Final Four, you have to have a guy or two that's not afraid to step up in front of the team and say, we are not leaving this floor without a win. And I kind of sensed that from Baylor tonight when I was watching them. They kind of have that dog about them that 2 or 3 guys that just refuse to do anything but win a ball game. And those are the kind of teams that will be sitting there in that national championship game.
Credit Sarr with the block. They give it to Brooks. Corner 3, too long and too strong.
Hard shot. Maybe.
Yeah, it was. Tough baseline jumper. It's good.
This has been Ole Miss's best defense all year. Their points allowed per possession out of their 2-3 zone. That's the lowest number that they give up, and they dwarf to a man-to-man out of it, and they can really confuse you.
Jarkel Joyner hit that high arcing baseline jumper. They'll bring Isaiah Jackson back in. The SEC Women's Tournament starts Wednesday, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Both the SEC Women's, Men's, and the ACC Network for all the ACC Men's and Women's tournaments as well. Check them out on those 2 networks. Jackson battles and can't come down with it, and it's Ole Miss.
Ole Miss still has a chance to finish 4th in the SEC or 10th.
Yep.
They have a lot to play for with 5:25 to go. A little bit of a
I'm telling you, Jimmy,
sending clap, was it not?
He's running warm. He didn't like the tie up down the other end, and I like the attitude, Buffin. He's playing with 4. He's not afraid to get in there. That's a good point. That's an attitude clap. Like, you're here. Listen to this.
He might be the guy for Ole Miss tonight that's inside saying, we're not leaving this floor without a win tonight, as he has been a beast.
Playing with an edge, looking for point 15. He's got 9 rebounds. He misses that one, but an offensive rebound by LaMelo White. Apparently he's okay. Pull-up jumper, no good. And Askew and Jackson run out.
Getting dangerously close to that 4-minute mark, and all the Big Blue Nation knows what's about to happen. What will Kentucky do? Outscored 9-4 in the last ball game against Florida from 4 minutes on.
As Jimmy's point just looked at a different way, they've lost 3 by 1 point. 2 and 5 in the one-possession games. They've led 10 of their 14 losses in the second half, and they've been outscored by 51 in the last 4 minutes of regulation. White, Jackson playing with foul trouble, and he couldn't do anything. It's your guy Buffin on the offensive glass.
Somebody's standing and watching for Kentucky defensively, and Cal's probably pointing to that guy. I mean, you know what Buffin has done to us all night long. When the shot goes, it's a play call for number 5 in White, and no resistance whatsoever for Kentucky on the defensive glass. Romello White with a miss, and KJ Buffin says, I'll go right to the front of the rim and get my 7th or 8th rebound of the ball game. Nope, make that 10. The message-sending clap by KJ Buffin. What's that thing we do with SVP? The coolest thing I saw today, or the, what is it again?
Yeah, best thing I saw today.
Yeah, that might be it. I don't know. It's a meaningful ball game for Ole Miss. You got Kentucky on your home floor. All right, take good shots and limit Ole Miss to one tough shot. That's been the formula for Kentucky and Calipari. That's what he's been trying to do. Can they follow through?
Sarr with position and a mismatch. And then from behind, KJ Buffin picks up foul number 5.
Bad decision by our clapper of the night, Buffin. You know, Olivier Sarr has hurt you from the free throw line more than anything else. He's 7 out of 8. He's pushed off the block. He's got a physical defender, Morrell, that's already pushed him off, and you come in and reach, and now you have to sit with 4:12 to go. That's a really big hit to this Ole Miss team. And Buffin's going to say, I got a lot of ball, and I understand now the reaction, because there was a lot of ball up top by Buffin.
It was. You could see, though, when he looked at the ball the first time, he was hesitant because he realized if I do this, and then he said, I got to go. He's literally waving it in front of my face. I got to try to grab it.
You're right.
Well, we'll see if the other superstar tonight, Sammy Hunter, playing a terrific game, can help them down the stretch. They're still up 6 with 4 to go, and they have the ball.
Ole Miss has turned this thing over 15 times in this ball game. Just be clean and strong and tough with it right now, knowing when you drive it, the blue jerseys are coming at you. Don't expect a foul to be called. Good stop.
Watch Devontae Shuler.
Really good stop. We don't talk about the ability of the guy to stop near enough in basketball. That was a fast, quick, purposeful stop by Shuler.
All right, we'll keep an eye here on these last 4 and the scoring ability of both teams. Nice take by Keon Brooks.
All right, you got the stop. If you're Kentucky, it's a game of back-to-back stops and back-to-back makes. You got your first stop. Can you get a make?
Wow, a call from across the floor as Brooks seemed to lose the ball, but he's bailed out by the official's whistle.
Devontae Shuler, he can score it and he can see it really well for his teammates. The back dribble and then the acceleration. Watch the stop. Boom, right there. Really well done by Shuler, just creating his own offense. Keon Brooks does the same thing. Spins in the middle of the floor. The help defense isn't there. Tight ball game in Oxford. You know it's March. You know what's happening. The Jets firing up. There's my guy. I think I'm going to have you in charge of the baggage, actually, Ravi, up there in first class out of the SEC. Alabama, they're not going to go away. They're going to be a 1 or 2 seed. They're going to have a great seat on that jet. And look at Arkansas. All of a sudden, right there on the first row of business class, they could be a 3 seed by the time that jet takes off. Solidly in coach, Tennessee, Missouri, and Florida. LSU are at the back of the plane right now. You better not mess around too much. Last week, we thought Kentucky had some momentum and Ole Miss had some momentum. The bus pulls up. Keep it rolling, boys. You're holding up traffic. The only way you can get on that jet now is to win that SEC tournament. And the effort that we've seen tonight from these two clubs, they understand that. They have really gone at one another for two teams that are 8-8 coming in. Kentucky 7-8 in SEC play.
KJ Buffin on the bench. He's fouled out. He's been their best player tonight. Devontae Shuler's picked it up. Sammy Hunter's been outstanding as well for Ole Miss. They got 5 on the shot clock as Shuler penetrates. Kicks, wide open jump shot. Yeah, good move. But the offensive glass is picked up and easily put back in. Luis Rodriguez.
Yeah, Kentucky, they're getting what they deserve in the ball game, Ravi. You cannot have that many just completely uncontested box-offs and putbacks by Ole Miss.
P.J. Boston took a 3-point shot from way downtown, and he has struggled all night. He's 1 of 8 now from the floor. Is that the shot they wanted?
No, it was not. And looking at Ole Miss's numbers tonight, they are shooting Ole Miss 61% from the 3-point line. Their best percentage so far this year coming in was 42% against Florida. You got to force the action now. Yeah, you can't just guard now. You've got to try to create something off your defense. Keep trapping that ball and see if Ole Miss will cough it up. They've already done it 15 times in the game. Can you get another one? The clock now is your biggest problem if you're Kentucky.
Toppin on the floor. That one rolls out. And just updating Jimmy so far in the last 4 minutes. Ole Miss has outscored Kentucky by 2. We talked about the last 4 minutes being a minus 51. They're in minus 53 now overall, minus 2 in this game.
Yeah, I think you got to check to see who that ball went out of bounds off of. And that will determine the shot clock. Good crew tonight. Joe Lindsay, Mike Nance, Jason Baker. There's the, it goes off the back of blue.
Yeah, Jacob Toppin.
Yeah. If that's the case, that it won't stay at 7. They'll. I mean, I don't think it touched that Ole Miss player after it bounced off the back of Jacob Toppin. Right. The back causes, you can't tell did it hit Shuler's knee or not. And was Shuler's lucky that he pulled that left leg out from underneath Toppin, or it could have been an awkward situation right here. I don't think it did.
Looked like it at that angle.
It did, yeah. Such a hard call to make live like that. And I don't remember, or I didn't see, Ravi, what the initial call was. Did they call it off of blue?
I didn't see a signal, to be honest, Jimmy. I know this, your point is valid about Ole Miss's ability to play for either a 4 seed or with losses drop to a 10. Get a double bye in the SEC tournament, especially with a team that has shown its ability to stay in games. And who knows, maybe Sammy Hunter takes this energy. Buffin stays on the floor. Well, they turn it around. They're going to give the ball to Kentucky. They must have thought it went off of Shuler's knee.
Well, you think about it, Ole Miss, they have to win the SEC tournament. And what a big deal to only have to win 3 instead of 4. That's what they have at stake right now, trying to hold on with 1:41 to go. They need some other things to go their way, but they have no shot at a 4 seed if they lose this one.
So where are you going here if you're Kentucky?
You got to go quick. I like screening the ball up top. Mintz is the guy that's made shots for you, as well as Sarr. Get it around Jackson. There you go. Really well done. You keep it in your best 3 productive players' hands right there in one possession. You got a ball screen up top for Mintz. It didn't work. You get that thing down low to Jackson. And must makes right now by Isaiah Jackson. 75% on the year in conference plays. Got a good release on it. Will allow Kentucky to set up full court pressure with the makes.
Kentucky's missed 7 free throws tonight. Their deficit in the game is 8, now 7. On the other side, Ole Miss very effective from the free throw line, 11 of 13. Just been a really good shooting night for Ole Miss overall. Jackson missed that one, so it stays 7.
You got to trap. You got to come up and trap. You got to force the issue.
Do they get a 10? Kermit Davis screaming at the officials that that ball was over half court.
Yeah, but it has to be touched legally. The ball's in the air when the clock hits 20. It's the right call. So Kentucky stays alive in this game by coming with some heat in the backcourt. Now they got to go quick and they got to get a good one.
Mintz, 3. Yeah, too long. They got Jackson and Sarr. It's Toppin back up with it, and he'll go to the free throw line. He got fouled. Looking to see if there was an escape valve for a 3, but there wasn't.
Well, Kentucky's going quick zone offense, and just setting a ball screen up top and letting Mintz work off of it, almost turning that zone into man-to-man defense up top by screening the top. Mintz got a good look, and same spot. Make them both.
Good free throw shooter here, Toppin.
Yep. Make them both set your press if you're Kentucky.
Feels like every game Kentucky has been in has been this close, this late.
Ole Miss has 2 timeouts left, Ravi, if they get in trouble with their press offense. But that ball is so important right now. You don't want to turn it over. Even if you're getting the life trapped out of you, don't throw a crazy pass. Take the timeout instead if you're Ole Miss. Got to go. You got to go. Got to trap.
Yeah, they were there for Schuler. Rodriguez.
Again.
Tough pass that's completed. And now Schuler will burn a little clock.
Cal going to foul. He's going to play it out.
Cal
gets a bench warning.
Yeah, really?
Boy, Kentucky had an ideal opportunity to run through another one. They just didn't run through the second trap that they got around the timeline because it was there to be had.
Kermit Davis right here calls a timeout. We'll take a 30-second timeout. They'll inbounds the ball with 15 in a 5-point game. Full day of college basketball across the networks, highlighted by these 2 key matchups. Number 2, Michigan hosting Michigan State, Ann Arbor, 7 Eastern time. Tom Izzo's team's playing great. Michigan's been great. They got hammered tonight by the Fighting Illini. Highlights of that on SportsCenter with SVP. Another Red River Showdown. Texas, Oklahoma. Both the games have NCAA tournament implications. That's Thursday, 7 and 9. Back here, 65-60. Carl Ravitch, Jimmy Dykes.
Yeah, it's just me, but every game of the Big Ten right now feels like a Final Four or an Elite 8 matchup with all the
it does.
The 1, the 2, the 3 seeds coming out of that league. We'll fight it right now to get open. Mitt the second had a good job. Yeah, really well done by Ole Miss.
Breakdown on defense. They get away with it as the layup was missed by Jarkel Joyner. Almost too easy. Perry wants to talk it over. Why don't we take a 30 here?
Well, Kentucky now down 5. First of all, you don't take for granted that you can just easily get the ball in. Let's talk about how are we getting it in. Once we get it in, what are we going to? You would love to have a play right now if you're Cal, and I'm sure he does, that has a 2-point option and a 3-point option. You need either one, but you cannot have an empty possession right here. You always also love getting the ball around the rim and getting yourself to the free throw line and scoring with the clock stopped. Ole Miss lets you get it in, ball screen, and go to work. Yeah, pick and pop, let him shoot it. Well done.
3 was a good look, and they're going to call it on Isaiah Jackson. And for Isaiah Jackson, foul number 5, and out of the game goes 23. Really good look for Olivier Sarr.
That's a good option to live with. I mean, he's a pick and pop big. He's 1 out of 1 from the 3-point line in this game prior to this miss. And Mintz fought to get it to him. There's the pick, and he sprints out of it, gets his feet set. That's just a really good look. Ball just doesn't go in. And not quite the offensive attack of the glass that you would expect out of Kentucky. With the game on the line, you want guys flying in there. And the rebounding numbers, once again, Ravi, 41 for Ole Miss, 26 for Kentucky. Big part of this game.
Sure is. And as you look forward to the SEC tournament, Isaiah Jackson's going to have to figure out a way to stay on the floor for Kentucky for them to have a chance there.
Well, we will have Kentucky on Saturday against South Carolina on ESPN. And Kentucky's going to have to get everything rolling, because the last time Kentucky won 4 games in that SEC tournament was 1952. And that's what they're going to have to try to pull off again.
But the last thing Ole Miss wanted there was to stop the clock, send anyone to the free throw line. It's going to be Davion Mintz as Jarkel Joyner picked it up. And that was close. Could have been a charge.
Well, you don't even let the official have to put his whistle in his mouth right there. You got Mintz on the side. You got the game pretty much locked up, and Mintz can't make the free throws.
Been a problem for Kentucky a few years ago. It played Kentucky as well. Tonight, 15 of 24. And it's been a long time, 11 since Ole Miss has beaten Kentucky. This series has been so one-sided, and Ole Miss looks like they're in position to win it. 109th meeting. And in the previous 108, Ole Miss has won 13 of them.
Well, Devontae Shuler, Ravi, was really good in this game because Kentucky made that kid work. He gets 15 points. And, 6 out of 10. He didn't have a high shot volume game. Had 7 assists. He only turned it over twice. He was a high usage guard. He was only out of the ball game maybe 2 or 3 minutes. I think he's played 36 officially right now. But he has been so good with Kentucky trying to take him out. He moved the ball, and the complementary pieces stepped up.
11 of Shuler's 15 points have come here in the second half. And for the senior out of South Carolina, who's in the top 10 in scoring, steals, only Scottie Pippen Jr. finds himself in the top 10 in those categories, and assists in the conference. Happy to see White knock down 2. Let's ask you scores, Jimmy. It's back-to-back games for the point guard without a point.
Yeah, I think Cal will probably get a lot more minutes, maybe for Mintz going forward, because he was good tonight. Mintz was, when he had that point guard spot under control. His assists were flying. He's a shot threat at that point guard spot up top. He's not the point guard Kentucky's had in the past. I understand that, but he might give you your best chance of winning ball games in Nashville with those minutes continuing to grow at that lead guard position.
Yeah, if you had to, Jimmy, put your best Kentucky lineup out there, what 5 would it consist of?
It's got to be Mintz on the floor. I think Brooks has to be on the floor. Isaiah Jackson has to be on the floor. Those 3 for sure. I still, Sarr is what he is, but he does give you something. He gives you a threat in terms of offense. And then from there, you're rotating in with either Askew or Boston. I mean, that's what the roster gives you right now. That's the same conversation that Al has had with his staff for the last 4 months.
Yep.
Uncommon times in Big Blue Nation. Will they show up in full throttle and try to dominate the 3,400 tickets that are available in Nashville next week? I would expect to say yes. That's how they roll.
We'll go to the free throw line, a whistle against Kentucky.
Close to dribbling on that baseline out of bounds line, wasn't he? Devontae Shuler is one of my favorite kids. I've gotten to know in this league the last 2 or 3 years. Just really came from a hard, tough background. Had to fight for everything he's ever gotten, and just a lot of things sometimes hasn't gone his way naturally. But boy, he just has a real joy about him. From a basketball standpoint, the two guys that can never have a bad practice is your head coach and your lead guard. And I think that sums up Devontae Shuler. I don't think he has bad days. I don't think he has bad practices. If his game's off, his game's off. But I can count on Devontae Shuler's effort every time I watch him play. I know Kermit can too.
Kentucky's going to fall to 7-9 in conference and 8-15 overall. Ole Miss still in line for a number 4 seed in the SEC tournament. Good win for Devontae Shuler and Kermit Davis as they celebrate a victory on their home floor. Good night for Ole Miss. Jimmy shot it well.
Yeah, they did. The ugly part of the games are still there. They shot the 3 ball. Ole Miss still has a chance to finish 4th.
Well, with Jimmy Dykes, I'm Carl Ravitch. For our producer, Scotty Matthews, and our director, Derek Mobley, thanks so much for spending your time on Super Tuesday with us. SVP Sports Center ready to go right now.